beaten all the time by my older, much larger sister at home, sometimes also by my mother, even a couple times by my otherwise absent father. And I would go to school and suffer even more abuse from kids there. And my sister would get all the kids in the neighborhood after me at home, and I would hide in the woods just to be left completely alone by people. The groups of kids would all commonly have one thing in common, even though they wouldn't have met each other, to pass it on to each other. So universal is this idea of gay hatred. They would call me Gay Ray because it rhymed. And not because they knew I was destined to actually grow into a gay man. Hell, I didn't know yet, but if we had known, obvious message from the name that they used is very clear that the abuse would have been much worse because there'd be even more reason. But what's often worse than abuse is neglect. And nobody would do anything to help. And that's the way it is with the abuse and bullying for anybody, not just gay kids. If you tell on the abusers, people hate you for narking, and those who you do tell just tell you that you need to deal with it yourself. They're either too selfish to get involved or they simply don't care. Your suffering is belittled as nothing more than a part of life, and you're made to feel all the worse because you're not just suffering it silently, which is all you need to know about how valued you really are to others. When I was threatened with a knife and told that I would meet my death after school, my pleas to the principal were ignored. Everyone told me that I had to walk home and nobody would help. I called my mother at work and she ignored me too, saying that she couldn't leave work. It was too important. I was not. Apparently, I was shown how much I was valued that day. I cried. I stayed hidden in that school building and I waited until the sun started to set, and they said I couldn't stay any longer, and I walked home, a very terrified mile home alone, knowing nobody cared whether I lived or died. This is just one of the painful moments of my life that led to pretty severe nervous breakdowns and terror that a child shouldn't have to suffer. I'm 36 now and have been finally diagnosed with severe symptoms of post-traumatic stress disorder, as well as undetected learning disabilities and social phobias, and it shouldn't be much of a mystery how I came by those. 36 years of needing help that never came. When I finally came out as a gay man 10 years ago, before the turn of the millennium, I'll be honest, I found the gay community that it didn't accept me any more than the world before it. I didn't have money. I wasn't someone that a lot of people wanted to screw. I'm amazed I've never actually ended up on the streets. That would have been death for me, and I'm sure it would have been. I have people who love me, but even that is barely keeping me afloat. The truth is, I'm not going to get better. And this will always be a part of me. I will always suffer this. I may even get worse as I get older. It seems to be the case. But what keeps me going is the fact I know that I don't deserve what happened to me. And I'm just too pissed off to give up. It doesn't have to get better for me to keep going. And the harder it gets, the more pissed off I get about the fact that it was made so hard for me in the first place by evil people. They were always bigger, so they always won the fights they started. Every time those people made me suffer, they won. Every time nobody helped me, they won. Every time I cried, felt hopelessness, and even took on irreversible psychological damage from what they did, they won. But you know what? If I died, if I took my life, they win again. If I don't vote against them, they'll win even more. And I thought about it, believe me. I realized, however, that I didn't think about it because I hated me. I thought about it so I wouldn't have to deal with them anymore. I hated them. I hate their hate. And I hate the idea of them getting so much victory that I'm willing to stay and fight. There are a lot of videos online right now telling you it gets better and begging you to stay around and not kill yourself. And for a lot of people, it did get better, and I'm glad. In fact, you might not see it, but there's been a lot of progress in this country for us. For some of you, it won't feel that way. I won't lie. Although our freedoms have increased since the time of Harvey Milk to an unfathomable degree, which is less than a human lifetime ago, they still keep fighting against us, and they keep hurting you, and me as well, and they seem to be increasing in their zeal to do so. So, listen up. I'm not here to tell you that it gets better. I just want to say there was nothing wrong with you. And I know something that a lot of the makers of these It Gets Better videos might not have considered, that if you're thinking of suicide, it's not because you're a little bummed out about being picked on. It's because life is unbearable hell, and you feel there is no way out. That's the fault of the people that are hurting you, but not you. There are ways out, and I beg you to take whatever way you have to, other than suicide. Don't just keep enduring the pain you don't deserve to suffer, as though there's no choice, or it's just your lot in life. Give them no more victories. Do whatever it takes. I quit going to school that day after the knife threatening. I was in 6th grade. Truancy officers could suck it for all I cared, as could my mother, who was the one actually getting in trouble for my non-attendance, but who didn't care that I might have died that day on the way home. That next year I was placed in a school for troubled kids, as though there was something horribly wrong with me, go figure, but it was heavily guarded and nobody bullied me there. And I learned at school again. You're a smart kid who should be worried about passing the test and learning all you can to be the future of humanity, and instead you're worried about where that kid's going to pop up and beat the crap out of you and give you bruises and make you cry. That's ridiculous. There's nothing wrong with you. There's everything wrong with people who let that happen to you. I want you to be pissed off. I want you to be angry. I want you to know you're not the one who deserves to suffer. Don't you dare let them win. You don't have to suffer alone. Find a way. See, I stopped going. I said enough was enough, and then I wouldn't take it anymore. Run away from what hurts you, if you must. But don't you dare let yourself think for a second there's anything wrong with you. Which is hard to do, isn't it? I mean, there's all these videos online talking to you, saying stuff to you, begging of you, many from very sincere people who care. What I do know is that you are not the problem. When are we going to get into the faces of the bullies instead? Where are the videos telling people who bully that they're nothing but assholes? Those of us who aren't the problem here, who hear that daily, what if they heard that? How would they react to that? How would they react if they felt for just a second how horrible they are?
People need love and support. You deserve that. I'm not here to tell you anything at all other than that. Instead, I'm here to tell the gay community that I want to see the energy we're expending on making these videos to be used on more than just videos. If we're a community, that means we have to commune. We need to support each other. We need to withhold judgment from one another and act as daddies to our boys who don't know how to take care of themselves, and not just neglect them or leave them as hustlers on the street. I hear men saying how they don't want to have to be bothered with a boy. So sorry it inconveniences you in your life, in your home, in your stability, but they're out on the streets. They need you to care. And we always hear about the World War II generation who sacrificed so much. We need to become the gay World War generation that does the same right now in extreme. Our enemies aren't wasting any time or energy. Why are we? We need to be more than just a bunch of guys who like to do other guys. We need to be a community. We need a community that supports each other and passes on that support down through the generations, or a community does not stand. Support them, teach them how to live and stand and support others as well. Then we have strength as a community. Then we have the numbers to win our freedoms. We suck so badly at doing this. Passing on the traditions of our own community strengths, so that generations won't even know what it's like. I know so many, and I've talked to gay boys who think that pride is a joke. Nothing more than us acting out, telling the world who we like to screw. They don't know anything any deeper than that, and they don't see it in us. They don't know about Stonewall and the queens that stood up and fought. They see corporate sponsorship and parades. It's because we often are not any deeper than that, or we've forgotten to show it. We need more than just videos. We need more than just words. Yes, it gets better for some, and I'm very happy it got better for you. But it doesn't always get better for everyone. For some of us, it never ends. Some of us have been made too weak to get just better by encouragement or videos or words. Some of us will never stop suffering the blows that we've been to endure. And some are still taking the blows and need rescued. We need to fight for the adoption rights, to take in people, and then we need to take them in and teach and guide and nurture each other. The reason many of us didn't feel worth a shit isn't just because people called us names. It's because nobody counteracted those names, and by showing us that we're worth a shit, by stepping in and investing their time and their energy and affection and showing us that we were worth that. If all you could do is make a video, realize this: our enemies are taking the time and expending the energy to take our rights away in rallies and campaigns and elections, or just to swing another fist at another gay boy or girl. So what is going to hold more power? Your words or our enemies' actions? Or if we fight so hard with actions so powerful that our enemies are made small in comparison? Give it all you've got. Action, caring, community. That is how it's going to get better.